Right, shall I just start?
Aye.
Right, okay.
Oh,
Right.
that's what I know. I was like,
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Digital MB, Martin Blythe, with me, Graeme Donkin.
hello.
Hello, alright?
Yes, I'm good.
Good. We're both representing Team Clocked. So, over the last few weeks we have been putting on Let's Play videos of Apotheon, which I think was the PlayStation Plus game for January.
For January.
Was it for January?
No,
right.
no, Feb.
February, right, okay. So we've been putting those videos up. We know that people have been really enjoying the videos as well. Thank you also for the comments. So what I wanted to basically do was get together with Graeme and just sort of get an idea of how the game is and what he thinks of it. Just sort of like a general sort of review of his experience. So, Apotheon, how was it?
It was good. It wasn't great.
Right.
Going in, I've read a couple of reviews on it and some previews, and it was being mentioned in the same conversations as Metroids, Castlevanias, some of the classic 2D platformers.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I went in with too high an expectation of it, but I did enjoy it, but I didn't think it was anywhere near the level of being mentioned in the same conversations with the games like Metroid.
Right.
There are a few things that are absolutely fantastic about it. Graphically beautiful. The art, direction, the environments were all absolutely fantastic. I really did enjoy that aspect of it. Plenty of variation in the environments as well, so each of the different gods that I had to take on took us to a very different area, so environmentally when you go in you had something very different every single time. That was really good. Some of the mechanics really worked well. The combat was pretty solid, not the best that I've experienced. Quite different in terms of my experience with 2D action platforms is Metroid. So with Metroid it's all shooting and fighting from a distance. With Apotheon it's all up close quarters, so that was quite a difference for me. Getting the hang of that took a little bit of time. Once you get the hang of it, it's not too bad, but there's a couple of aspects to the combat that really I felt didn't work.
Right.
The enemies tend to back away from you a lot and try and kind of fight at distance. Now, you do have distance weapons in the game. You've got a bow and arrow and you've got spears and things that you can throw around, but they're not very accurate, and it might be different on a PC, which is where the game was first designed. But for the thumbsticks of a PlayStation 4 controller, it wasn't very reactive, so I tended to find that I had to fire off 4 or 5 arrows before I would even get close to hitting the enemy, so that wasn't great. So my approach to it was get in close and attack with swords and the maces and the axes, whatever I had. It was quite difficult because the enemies would spend all the time backing away, which meant that after a while the combat, while varied, became very linear for us, because I was employing the same tactic in every single fight that I had to get through it, which was alright at the beginning of the game when you didn't know what you were doing, but once you were kind of halfway in and you fought a couple of gods and you know how to fight the enemies, it gets a little bit tedious, and that I didn't really like. That being said, it didn't ruin the game in any sense, it didn't help it. I felt like it was trying to gear towards using the ranged weapons, which, because they weren't as responsive as the close quarters weapons, I didn't really like them. Yeah.
From what I've seen, because I haven't played the game yet, I might pick it up, but I've got so many other games going on at the minute that I don't really have time to play this, but I might go for it. The other thing I realised is that I thought it was like illustrated animation, do you know, like UV art.
Yeah.
That's what I thought when I saw the screenshots and everything. After watching the Let's Players, they look sort of like cut out, animate, like the limbs don't seem joined together. They seem to sort of flail around a little bit, and I wasn't expecting that, and that sort of put me off a little bit, because like I said, I genuinely thought, because of the art style, it looks drawn, and I thought the characters would move that way, a bit like Mark of the Ninja. If anyone tried out Mark of the Ninja, which was like another 2D game, like it was all drawn animation, but like I said, this, like well, as you can see here, like the limbs don't seem a part of the rest of the body, So it looks like a Flash game, you know, like the old Flash games that we used to play years and years ago. That's what it seems to move like, and even though the art style looks nice, I don't know if I like the way it sort of moves. That's just me, of course, but
yeah, I mean, there were certain kind of bits where it really kind of took away from the game, so you'd be kind of attacking the enemies and you've got them absolutely flailing all over the place. Now, it was probably what I can approximate as something along the lines of ragdoll physics, but it's ragdoll physics not done very good. So what we found there is that it didn't hinder the experience, but it didn't bring it through. My fear, I knew it wasn't something like UB art. The thing I could most liken it to, it was the art style reminded us of Limbo. So kind of very. The backgrounds were very defined from what was happening in the foreground and the characters and what you were meant to be doing. So it very much reminded us of Limbo, and I absolutely love Limbo, which was a fantastic game. So that, I don't know if that kind of also hindered the experience, was that I was maybe comparing it a little bit to Limbo, which probably would be unfair because Limbo was pure platforming and there was no action. It was all a platformer.
I think the trick to Limbo as well was that there was no detail on the characters; they were just shadows. So with regards to like how they moved and stuff, you couldn't really see much of the separation between the limbs and the rest of the body, because that boy that you played was just shadow, and any other character, any sub characters that were in, any supporting characters that were in it, were all just shadow anyway. So that kind of worked. Obviously with regards, I mean, it's got RPG elements to it from what I can see, which does seem quite appealing. Another thing I would say that I was a bit unsure of is the inventory screen, like the little squares that go down. I'm not sure if I like the look of that. It looked quite sort of. It was not complicated, but just a little bit cluttered. It
was cluttered and convoluted, and I think the menu screens are very much a key identifier that this was a game developed primarily for a PC.
Right. Yeah.
So when you're going into a menu like the crafting or just the main inventory screen, on a mouse it will be dead easy to navigate the way around. With a controller, it's not so easy. The inventory and the kind of weapons were one of the big problems that I had with the game. Everything seemed difficult to find out. There seemed to be an assumption from the developers that you understood that the weapons. So, as an example, the weapons have durability, and after a few attacks, it'll break down. But because the icons on the screen are so small, it took me halfway into the game and a conversation with somebody else who was playing with it to realise that there was a health bar for the weapons down at the bottom of the screen. You can see that depleting as and when you got through. Got towards breaking the weapon, and I didn't like that. That there was this assumption that you should know what you're doing, and that was a big problem for me. And I found that I kept having to duck into the menus over and over again when I didn't want to. I found that broke up the gameplay, and even navigating through the available weapons that you've got was difficult. It didn't prioritise the weapons at all. So each weapon has a strength. But you don't know that, and it doesn't seem to order them in any given. I didn't feel like it had ordered them in any given way. So if I was about to dive into a battle with a boss and I needed to know which weapon was the best, I was having to pause the game, go into the inventory, review the weapons from there, rather than just being able to know that if I flicked up or down to move to the next weapon, it was going to be the next most powerful weapon that I've got. So I didn't like that. But that being said, there was variation on the weapons. The weapon choice that you have affected the game as well. So if you were using axes, they would swing slow, more damage, but it took longer to throw the attack, which meant that the enemies either had time to get away from you if they're backing away, or to counter attack. So I like that there was a consequence to the weapon choice. It probably could have been developed a little bit further, which if they do a sequel, I would imagine they would do. So that was there were good points and bad points to the inventory and the weapon management and things like that. Things that I think could be improved if they decide to do another one.
Cool. So as a whole, okay experience.
It was
room for improvement.
Definite room for improvement. I did enjoy it. It was, once you got invested and got into the game, you wanted to see how things progressed. The story was minimal. There wasn't a lot going on. You understood that you were meant to be taking down the gods of Olympus, but there wasn't a lot of additional story. It was a little bit here, a tiny little bit there. I would recommend playing it. I mean, I played it primarily because I've got it as part of the PlayStation Plus subscription.
Yeah.
Whether there's enough there for us to recommend going out and paying however much they're charging for it at the time. I'm not sure. It is a digital only title, so have a look on your PlayStation Store. It's available on Steam as well, so you can get it there. I can imagine it's probably going to be a little bit more price friendly on somewhere like Steam, but if you have the option of being able to pick up a demo, I would say pick the demo up, give it a go, see what you think. You might absolutely love it. There are good bits, there are bad bits to it. It is an experience that I enjoyed. If they do a sequel, I'm not sure if I would be drawn back to try it again. They would have to kind of show that they've evolved the things that they started with and put together something a bit more compelling.
Cool. So, there you have it, Apotheon. If you want to actually watch some of the footage before you maybe go out and purchase it, check out the Let's Play videos that are on our YouTube channel right now. Please subscribe to that. The rest of the videos I think we're going to be going up in the next few weeks.
Yeah, we're staggering the videos over the Let's Plays over the course of the next couple of weeks. We don't want to kind of bombard too many in one go, so it gives you the chance, because the Let's Plays are upwards of 45 minutes at a pop. So they're going to be going up. The whole thing should be live in its entirety within the next couple of weeks, and once it is, we'll have a playlist on there as well. So if you do want to sit and play it all the way through from start to finish, then you can do that with one easy click. Cool.
So, Graeme, thank you very much.
Thank you.
So you can follow us on Twitter at Team Clocked. You can follow Graeme at GrimmyD1. You can follow myself at The Digital MB. And you can also check out our Let's Plays, like I say, on our YouTube channel. And you can also check our live streams at twitch.tv/Team Clocked. So until next time, this is Team Clocked. Thanks very much.
Thank you.